Welcome to Money, Manifestation, and Business, the podcast that shows you how to use your energy, intention, and consciousness to reprogram your money mindset, unleash a new level of possibility, and create a life and business that lights you up. I'm your host, Jamie Berman, and I invite you to join me each week for a dose of inspiration, coaching, and teachings to help you rewrite your money story, create abundance on your terms, and grow your business in a way that's fully aligned for you. This is going to be so much fun. Let's dive in. Hi, friend. I am so excited to be bringing you a coaching episode today. This one is going to be so good for all of you who tune in and listen to it. And it's like whether you resonate with that specific topic that we're coaching on or not, I think you're going to get so much out of it. Because in this episode, I really dive in and teach some of the practices that have been the most life-changing and transformational for me. And it's something that you can use no matter who you are or what you're going through or what's coming up for you in business. So I'm super excited for you to hear it and tune into it. But before that, I thought I would give you a little life update because I don't think I've done that in a minute. And gosh, I am just loving this season. Now, it's a season, and when I say a season, I don't mean winter, because winter is not my favorite season of all time. But I'm not going to resist it. But I'm saying the season that my business is in, which is a time where I'm not launching anything. I am really in a reflective phase where I am just kind of reflecting on the year. It's feeling very yin. It's feeling very spacious. I'm in a very creative space where I'm just over delivering to my current clients and then creating what's next. And what's been on my mind is my New Year's manifestation retreat. So I've been spending a lot of time getting really intentional about that and planning it and coming up with ideas and thinking about what is going to be the most transformational teachings that I can bring to it and putting that together. And can I tell you what? This retreat is going to be epic. I guarantee every one of you who comes to it is going to leave feeling so ready and excited with a plan for 2024. And I just can't wait for it. And I just love seeing my people in person. So I'm just like, keep visualizing it and thinking about how excited I am just to go hug all my people. So I'm so excited for that. And I've been spending a lot of time and intention just thinking about it and really intending making it the best retreat ever. So if you haven't signed up yet, go to the show notes and sign up because we only have a few spots left and I would love to have you there. You are going to love it, guaranteed. All right. And what's also fun is I'm unplugging for the last bit of the year and I'm doing a lot of traveling. So I'm very excited to spend lots and lots of time with family, lots of time in Maui with the whales, and I'm going to hopefully go and see the humpbacks jumping. And then I'm going to go to my family's for Christmas in St. Louis. And we're just going to celebrate. I'm very excited for the end of the year. I usually launch in December, but I'm not doing a launch this year. I'm taking it slow. I'm taking it easy. And then I'm just going to start the new year feeling so refreshed and reinvigorated and ready to go. So that's what I've been up to. All right. So I hope you have been having an amazing season, no matter what season you are in your business. I'm wishing you all the best. And let's dive into this episode, okay? So I coached Vanessa, and Vanessa is someone who has been listening to the podcast in the community, but I have not met her until today when I had the opportunity to coach her. And it was such a powerful coaching session. So you're going to love this episode if you are someone who's ready to expand your business, but you have a sense there's a couple of blocks in the way. You notice resistance around growing in certain ways, right? Whether that's money blocks or blocks around selling or wondering if you're doing it right or if you're enough or any of those types of things, you're going to love this episode. So, this is great for you also if you are someone in sales who sells in your business, which most of us do. And if you tend to get triggered by no's, like if you have consecutive no's in a row, a number of people who say no, and you tend to make it mean something about you, like you're not enough, your messaging isn't right, you must be doing something wrong. And then you end up retreating and not putting yourself out there for people to actually say yes to you, right? And so we talk a lot about rejection and the energy of rejection and how that plays in with manifestation, right? Because rejection is a part of business. We're going to hear yeses and we're going to hear no's, and that is totally normal. But what we make those no's mean about us matters. It matters big time. And sometimes, whenever we feel really triggered by rejection, sometimes there's an opportunity to look at why it triggers us so much, maybe beyond the fact that we're human and rejection doesn't feel good. But if it feels like it's a stronger trigger than just, oh, that doesn't feel good, we can look within and see, is this maybe a part of my inner child that's being triggered, that feels rejected? Is there something older here? And when things come up in business that feel really triggering and we feel like just mindset work alone isn't really moving the needle forward, sometimes it's an opportunity to look within and see if there's an older part of us that's scared, that's triggered, that is coming up, what we call, let me say that one more time, which we could call our inner child. And that was the case for Vanessa. So I walked Vanessa through a very, very powerful practice to help heal her inner child, to help heal the triggers, and to work with the part of her that feels really uncomfortable when she hears no's. And I think you're going to love this practice too. So whether you resonate with this exact topic or not, you can use this practice with whatever is triggering you in your business. Because I know for sure if you are a human and you're in business, there are triggers that come up and you can absolutely heal them. So I really hope that you enjoy this episode and I hope it helps you out. Onto the episode. All right. So I have Vanessa with me, who has been tuning into my podcast in the community for a little bit of time. And I'm so excited to get to coach you. This is our first time meeting. And I told Vanessa she can get coaching on anything she wants. So Vanessa, what would you like some coaching on?
I've been a scientist for 25 years and I had this incredible burnout. It was quite insidious at first. And then I healed myself and did what I needed to do. And people said, oh, can you help me? And so it ended up one after another being me being a coach and mentor to women who are burnt out in the science field and medical field. But it's kind of interesting as how I started as a response to someone asking me that, could you do this for us? And so now I'm going, okay, I would love to expand my business. So I've got quite a few clients. I'm still, I'm earning sort of the five figures. But then it's not quite sort of the salary I'm used to with that I had in science after 25 years, you can imagine. So I'm now not actually clear on how to proceed forward to expand my business in a sense. But also I find that there are sort of big money blocks coming up for me at the moment where I'm doing my best to put myself. I'm trying to use the proper language for myself. I'm doing my best to really serve as many women as possible in that sense. But I don't find that my messaging is getting out to people. There's sort of a lackluster in the community that I engage with, and it's not not them. It's something that I'm having a block with, and also just with just there's just expanding part. And I find that there is a huge resistance in terms of, I think, with a lot of us women, sort of money. How do we charge for our coaching? And when we do get rejected, do we say, is it because of me, or is it because of yeah, am I not putting the word out enough? That sort of stuff. So I would love to start from there. I know it's really broad, but yeah, I would love have some of your reflections and insights.
Absolutely. That's great. Fantastic. So much awareness around what's going on for you. So, okay. I think the most important piece to start with and address is going to be the money piece, because we can have a strategy for expanding or a way of, that we want to grow our business or get more clients. But if we still have these like money thoughts and money, I call it money drama in the way, it's going to get in the way of us really being able to take action and expand. So let's start with that. How does that sound? Of like clearing up any of the beliefs that you have about money that are getting in the way of the expansion. Does that sound good?
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you talked about the rejection piece, right? And like if somebody says, so I want to hear a little bit more about that and what happens, what comes up for you, and what you said. Then I start to question, like, is it me or is it the program? So tell me a little bit about, do you have like a specific situation where something like that has happened and it's made you question things?
Yeah, there's a couple of different ones, but basically, like I just feel like the clients I have are incredible. So they would come from to me and they're like, I just want to work with you. I don't want a one-on-one call. I'm just going to work with you. How do we go about it?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm used to.
Wow.
And then I know, right?
That's
I'm
rare.
so blessed. Yeah.
Awesome.
But then you're just going, okay, there has to be some consistency in the business. So you do what you're told by your business mentors and stuff like that to do the launch and do the marketing stuff.
Sure.
And then you do the one-on-one strategy sessions where people turn up and say if they want to work with you. And I kind of follow the script, or I don't follow the script, and yeah, and at the end of the day, at the end of the time, what happens is like, do you want to work with me? Then work with me, and this is what I can help you with.
Yeah.
And I know I can help them with because I have clients I've already done.
Totally.
And so I'm really confident on that score. And they're like, okay, yeah, great. How much is it? And then I tell them the price, which is what I'm currently working with my other clients. So I know people can pay it.
Yep.
And they go, oh, it's too much. It's too expensive. I don't want to do that. And then the excuses start coming up, as in, you're not offering enough. All these other things around. I know it's their story, but you just feel like, there's I'm being shown two very different types of clients. And it's actually, interestingly enough, they come in batches. So I've had 10 strategy calls, and each of them are saying the same thing. So I'm just thinking, am I attracting the wrong people? Not wrong. Am I attracting not my tribe? Or is there something I'm projecting that is going out into the world at the moment? And I think it's all me. It's not them. They're beautiful people and perfect in every way. We just need to support them. But yeah, so that's kind of that kind of is a consistent message. Or they'll say, yeah, we want to work with you. This sounds amazing. And then 24 hours later, I know this is normal, but I'm working through my stuff. They go, oh, no, yeah, something's happened at home. And then they kind of don't ever talk to you ever again. So, and I'm just, and that's really put me into quite a stuck place, in the sense that and also I'm not very clear on, is my messaging right? Am I pulling my heart out to people? So that's kind of, and then I go into seclusion, where I don't want to come out of my little shell, and I don't I don't engage properly. So you can see all that.
Totally. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm curious, what you have two different clients. You have the clients that just say, I'm all on board. Why do you think they're all on board? And why do you think the other ones are maybe a little more hesitant?
I think the ones all on board really connected with me, and for some, and they've come to we've connected simply because we connected, not because of I didn't purposely put out something to say, hey, do one-on-ones with me. I basically just put out something from the heart, and I've done a lot of seminars and talk shows as well, and and um, and summits. And so they see me there, and then they kind of go, oh, I really connect with you. And then they come in, and the ones that are the other side are the ones that I brought in through also partially summits, but maybe from master classes and stuff that I've held, and they come in from there, which is great, beautiful. But for some reason, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just I'm not sure why it's happening at the moment. It's definitely trying to teach me something, so I'm hoping.
Yeah. And that's why I think it's helpful to sometimes unpack, like, oh, what are the differences between the two? So the two different clients, do they come from different places or they come from similar places? It's just that some of them feel more connected to you and other ones you don't think do.
Yeah,
Okay. So they're coming from the same places.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So they come from the same sort of sort of they're quite a bit burnt out. They don't know where to move from there, and how to carry on with their life, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, which is fair enough. Yeah.
And not only are they coming from the same place in terms of like what they're going through, but are they coming through the same funnels?
They are mainly coming through the same funnel, because I've only got one way in which I advertise myself to the world, which is through the summits at the moment. So, and then through that email group, then what I do is I do master classes to serve them, and then say there's these one-on-one things that I do with people, coaching and mentoring, and would you like to join me, sort of thing. And so that's, yeah, so I would say they're coming from the same funnel, because that's really about the only funnel I have at the moment.
Super good to know, right? That's really helpful. So what's happening is they're coming from the same funnel, but what you're saying is maybe my messaging isn't right, or maybe there's something that I didn't do or say right. But there's some people who come from that same funnel and they're like, a heck yes, when can I start? Let's go. So it's
Yeah,
probably not that. It's probably more so that this is just how it works, right? That we have sales calls and sometimes they're a yes and sometimes they're a no. And sometimes we have consecutive, oh, a bunch of people just said yes. And then sometimes, oh, shoot, there were a couple in a row that said no.
yep, yep,
So the thing is that what's happening is when you get no's, a couple of no's consecutively, you're making it mean something about you, and then you retreat and go hide, right? Which allows you not to get more of those yeses that are out there,
correct. Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
that's what I would take a look at is, what do you make a no mean, or consecutive no's? What do you make that mean?
I think we've just unpacking it. It was when I keep going back to this. It's quite weird. So my mom had cancer when I was 7, and then she passed away when I was 13. So I always kind of didn't quite have the childhood I wanted, I guess, because I had to look after her. And then when she died, I kind of felt really rejected by the whole situation. And also, each time I earned some money as a child, that money get taken away from both either her or my father. Um, and so, and it's almost like, you're not good enough to hold that money, we'll do it for you, sort of thing. Or you're forced to put it in the bank and not really spend it on yourself. So I think that all kind of accumulates to some form of weird rejection money thing that's
Yeah.
happening in my body. And I've been trying to sort of move it, but I don't know, how to move it for my business, if you know what I
Yes.
mean.
Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense, right? Because it's like we have these inner children inside of us that little things in business that can seem like, oh, it's a little thing I got to know, but it triggers something that feels so much heavier than that. Why? Because we have this like inner child that hasn't been healed inside. So this is actually the most beautiful opportunity to be with that part of you that feels rejected and heal that part. Because what's really great is even something that happened when we were 10 years old, 15 years old, doesn't matter. We can actually heal it now. So,
Yeah.
what if this is only an opportunity to deepen in your relationship with yourself? And it's almost like the more no's you get, the better, because it's an opportunity to start loving that place inside that hurts.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. What would be different if that was the angle that you held any no with?
It's quite funny because I can feel it sort of here. So I guess that's the heart chakra there. Um, it you would just feel more in the flow. So and not so much judgment on myself because um I think in the end, I just feel like, my message isn't clear on what I serve and who I serve. But ultimately, in the end, my clients who are with me were quite clear, knew what I was doing. So I can't be that bad.
Totally. Yes, it's not your messaging. Otherwise, you wouldn't have clients, right? You do have clients that are landing and completely connecting to your messaging. So helpful to know it's not that. If it were that, you wouldn't be signing clients that are coming in, saying yes right away, creating incredible results.
Yeah.
So anytime your brain offers that, it's just like, it's not that. And
Mm-hmm.
this is an opportunity to be with myself. And like, it's almost like what I would ask yourself is, what did that younger me who felt rejected need to hear? What do I wish she heard?
I think she wished she heard that um, you're enough, and how how you want to run in the world and the experiences you're having. So you could be, you want to set up business, you want to try what it feels like, because I think my inner child, because at 7 she didn't have many experiences that she would have normally had as a 7-year old. They go out and play, they go to different parties, they do all kinds of crazy stuff for school camps, all that sort of stuff. But then being in an Asian family and also be having to look after my mom, you kind of get boxed into this expectation, and that expectation just tells you that you're not enough, you need to work harder at that expectation. And so, yeah, I think she needs to know that she's enough, and that she doesn't need to force anything, and just to be who she is. And the people that she will attract as part of her tribe doesn't matter if they're clients or they are friends. Just people you hang out with.
Yep. Yep.
They are your natural ones,
Yep.
and not everyone's going to be on your side.
It's
Not
true.
not in the bad way.
Yeah,
Not the side.
totally.
So,
Totally. Because what's happening is there's just a natural thing happening in your business. This happens. Some people connect, some people don't.
yeah,
But whenever you
yeah,
have this unhealed kind of wound, it triggers something and it makes us think something that's not true, right? That, oh, there's, oh, my messaging is enough for this. But that's not true. This is actually just normal in business to have some yeses, have some nos. So I have a practice that I learned from two of my teachers when I studied spiritual psychology, Ron and Mary Holnick. And this practice changed my life. It's called compassionate self-forgiveness. And what you do is you basically put your hand on your heart anytime you're
mm-hmm.
feeling triggered in that way. If you get a no and you're feeling that sense in your body, you go
Yeah,
in and you talk to that younger you and you say, I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that I'm not enough. I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that my messaging isn't enough, or that I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing it right. And then you really go into really releasing that and letting yourself forgive yourself for buying into that misbelief that you bought into when you were very young. And then you state, the truth is, the people that connect with me
mm-hmm.
connect with me. And there's going to be people that don't, but it doesn't mean anything. It's not a bad thing. It's actually good because I end up creating the most aligned clients. this way.
Yeah.
I don't want people who aren't connected to say yes, because they're probably not going to get the best results and it's not going to be as much fun, right?
Exactly. Like, I had one client that it just felt a little bit slightly off, nothing to do. She's a beautiful woman, absolutely gorgeous. But then in the middle, after 6 months, she just went to me, it's work. Like, she had fantastic results, and she started making all excuses about different things, and I knew it in my heart that, from the start, she wasn't a great fit. So, but yet I still pushed it, and that required far more energy than
Totally, it really does. So it's almost like, what if for everyone who says no, it's just a celebration of like, okay, they just weren't aligned and they knew it and I knew it and it wasn't going to be the best fit. Right? Not that, of course, if they're in fear, it's a different thing. Sometimes, like, if someone's like, I really want to do this, but I'm scared of spending the money, of course, I'll work through them with things. But if they're just giving a bunch of excuses, I'm not going to sit there and coach them through every one and try to force them to work with me if it's not aligned.
Yeah, I get that now, because having done a few business courses, not being a scientist, you end up going, oh, I do this business course and do that business course. And what's really been very triggering for me is almost like you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You should be closing the sale.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, why? I don't want someone to do that to me. That's disgusting.
Totally 100%. I have a book recommendation if you're open to it. This book changed my life when it came to selling, because whenever I started doing strategy calls like you're doing, I had 40 no's before I got a yes. I had 40 consults that said no to me and of course I wanted to give up and make it mean I'm terrible at selling. I'm awful at this. I attract the wrong people. I'm doing something wrong. Of course I wanted to, but what I realized is with every single one, oh my gosh, I learned so much. I learned how to sell through that whole process. And I read this book. It's called Going for the No. That book changed my life, because basically it's a book on selling. I can't remember who it's by, but we'll put it in the show notes for sure. I might have it here, but okay, I'll put it in the show notes, but it's called Going for the No. And it's a short read, but basically it's all about, if you want to be the best salesperson, you have to get really good at hearing no, because the more no's you're willing to hear, the more yeses you're going to hear. So what if instead of only celebrating the yeses, what if you start celebrating the no's, because it means you're putting yourself out there and you keep showing up, and within every no, there's going to be a yes. And that's just how sales works.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
When we hold it from that context, it's a game changer. And once I started realizing that, then it was like, okay, I'm going to celebrate. It's kind of like how I practice manifestation now, where I celebrate failure, because I know that if I'm failing at something, it's more valuable than winning. I'm learning something huge. So I'm not afraid of failing anymore. It's like the more willing you are to fail, the more willing you are to succeed. It's that 50-50 balance. And it's going to be the same with sales calls. And of course, there's always opportunities to say, what could I do that could prevent, maybe if I'm having a bunch of the same objections, what could I maybe do that would help this, right? Like I had a bunch of objections around the price. And I realized, well, they don't know what the price is in advance. So what if I just created a form ahead of time and asked them if they were willing to invest this much? Let them know what the price is ahead of time.
Yeah.
And guess what? I got a lot less no's, because the people who weren't aligned with that price just didn't sign up anymore.
It's it's putting the information out there. Yeah, I get it. Thank you. I really, that's kind of my thing, and I keep telling myself it's true that it's each and every person I speak to is an incredibly beautiful soul, and they're just finding someone to connect with, and if it's not that instant connection, then of course they have every right to say no. But still, it just really, all that sort of doubt comes up in me, because it's, I guess, not having been nurtured at a young age, you just kind of like get thrown into the real world.
Totally. Of
And-
course. Absolutely. But the beautiful thing about it is that it's never too late to nurture that part. You can
yeah,
completely heal it now and do that work. And just, it's really just about learning to talk back to that little part that's scared that we normally want to resist or get upset about or listen to. Instead, it's like learning to nurture and love that part. And before you know it, it's not probably going to trigger you anymore. And you may find that just by doing this inner work, you may just end up manifesting more clients that you just instantly have a connection to,
yeah, yeah.
right?
And yeah, I just feel like, and it's also challenging for me. So thank you, Jamie, that I need to learn this right now, because then I will be able to help the clients who are going through the same stuff.
You got it.
Not necessarily in business, but
Yep.
in life in general.
Best part of being a
So
coach.
if I don't learn it now, yeah, I can't coach them because I have
Yeah.
life experience.
Yes. That's the best part about being a coach. Like the more we do our own work, the more we can help our clients. So it really, it just goes hand in hand. It's so good. And I love that perspective from you. It's so positive, and I think it's going to be a game changer with your business. And the last thing I would mention also is it could be helpful to also start rewriting that story about money, because I know we didn't touch on that as much. It sounds like it was linked to the rejection piece, but also doing some compassionate self-forgiveness around the misbeliefs that you took on about money, right? Of like, oh, anytime I make it, it's going to go away. Like that was your experience, but it doesn't have to be your experience now. So
Yeah.
like letting go of the misbelief that that's how it has to be. It's almost like rewriting that story of, yeah, that was my past. That's how it was. And I'm creating a new reality where I can make money and I can keep money and I can nurture money and it can be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I can decide what I want to do with my money.
Yes, you can. And
Yes.
Yes, it's your time to play. It's your time to do what you weren't able to do as a teenager. And you get to do that with money, and you get to do that in your life now that you've let go of like overworking and burnout. It's like you get to step into what you didn't get when you were younger. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, thank you so much,
You
Jamie.
got it. Thanks for being on here, Vanessa. I'm so excited for you. And you'll have to let me know how it goes as you do this work. I want an update.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Really appreciate your time and the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this episode is something that you'll be able to add to your manifestation toolbox to come back to when you need a little extra motivation. If you like what you've heard today and want to take it deeper, you've got to come check out my signature coaching program, the Money Manifestation Movement. It's the place where you'll not only learn manifestation, but you'll begin to live it alongside me and an amazing community of like-minded entrepreneurs doing this work together. Head on over to jamieberman.com to learn more.